Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for SPT Season 0, a taste of gut and glory, hopefully. Welcome to this new thing we're doing on the channel, kind of. I'll explain why. It is Season 0 of SPTs, a taste of gut. That's the title of this season, because you are going to get a preview of Season 1 and Season 2 and one season of Season 0. I'm going to explain how this works, where you can watch, how you can watch, and some interactive elements that I'm going to try to bring to you during our live streams on YouTube, and how you can watch the videos on the website and our potential new channel coming up this week. Let's introduce Season 0, A Taste of Gut. What is SPT? What is EFTBSGPVE? And what's the difference between the two? And what's the difference between Edge of Darkness and Zero to Hero? Those we answered in this question, in this video. So let's get started with talking about what is SP3 before we get into Season 0. SPT stands for Single Player Tarkov. Basically, it's a mod of of the main game from BSG Battle State game, where players can go quote unquote offline and use mods to make their experience a little bit more interesting. So, for example, you may have heard of Starvox, a YouTuber who does SPT ever since it started, and it grew in popularity because of what happened with Battlestate game. So, a brief overview of what happened. Basically, there was a controversy where they released a new edition called Unheard of edition, literally. The price of the edition is literally unheard of, $250. Now, you get everything in there and all that good stuff, but one of the controversies was there was a new mode where you can actually go PvE. Now, up until this point, Tarkov is a PvP game with raids and stuff. Until this point, there was no PvE. Like you couldn't play with bots without cheaters and stuff. Then the controversy of it's not a DLC, but it is a DLC and a pay to win. So a lot of players abandoned the real SPT, the real Tarkov, and jumped into SPT, which is a rise in mod being made for SPT, and that's the controversy in a nutshell. So now that I explained the idea or how SPT came about, let me explain how the game works. If you guys are not familiar with Tarkov in general, in real Tarkov, it's a game of risk and reward. In real Tarkov, you bring the stuff you are going to quote unquote gamble. Okay, weapons, anything. If you die in the raid, you lose everything. But if you survive the raid, also known as exfil extract, you get to keep everything you brought and anything you earned in the raid. That's real Tarkov here. But SPT has a mod, which is actually in my mod list this season, and in season 1 and in 2, where you can actually keep the stuff you brought. You only gamble what you earned, which makes it a little bit more manageable. Okay, so that's SPT, EFTBSG in a nutshell. Now let's introduce Season 0 and how we're going to be doing this. Okay, so we have two map, two maps for you guys. I am featuring factory and custom. The reason why I'm featuring these two maps is you get the small map factory, and you get a taste of the big one of the big maps, custom. Now, customs is more open than factory is. I'll tell you now. Doing practice raids, okay, and the pros of factory is it's close combat area, but I'm gonna tell you there's not much place to hide. And customs, it's more open, but you are prone to more empty, a bit empty spots. So do keep in mind if it feels empty, that's why it is open. Now, I would like now to introduce to you all my mod list for this season and in season one and two. All of these mods you probably heard of. Some of them are new to you guys. I would like to present our mods for this year, for this particular season. If you want a bigger look, I actually made this same graphic on Canva, which I want to go over now. So this is the mods that I'm going to go with. We're going back to the website in a moment. I'm going to explain all the mods and then we'll go back to the website just to give you guys a taste of season 0 and 1 and a little preview of Edge of Darkness and Zero to Hero. So let's talk first about the gameplay mods and then we'll go to QOL, quality of life. Gameplay mods are as follows: looting bots. Looting bots allow the AI to loot as if they were players. So like weapons, guns, everything. They play like players even though they're bots. The next mod we're going to play with is Sane. SAIN, like insane, the word. So Sane allows you to manipulate the bots in terms of like their how they play. They're using the F12 menu, I believe, or F8. I forgot which one. Waypoint is also included because of the bot, how they spawn, how they do things like this. Big Brain is also the same thing, but it's required for Sane and looting bots, so I need to include that. Then we have all quest check marks. Now, I was originally going to put this as a QOL, but I put it as a gameplay because it does require, it is part of the game where you can do quests. So I tacked it on as a gameplay mod. If you believe it's a QOL mod, feel free to argue with me. I'll be happy to make a point. If you feel it, good. We have dynamic maps. Dynamic maps allows you to have a map on the top right corner of your screen where you can see where you are and know where the exfil points are. Just because you have the maps though doesn't make it easier. I'm telling you now because anything can happen. Radar. You're gonna have a radar in the bottom left corner of your screen. It's like in Halo where you have the radar on the bottom left corner of your screen. Now, all of these mods I will tell you are configurable to your liking. You can take off, take on. You can manipulate the configuration file if you know how to do that. So good stuff. The next mod we have is hidden cache. Hidden caches, hidden cache. This is basically like a hidden area where you're gonna find like orange smoke. If you find orange smoke, you have found a hidden cache. Random items are given to you if you can find them. This actually works with radar. I mean not radar. Dynamic maps because if you see on the map, it's a barrel that's a hidden cache. Then we have an all ammo trader. This allows you to add one more trader to your lineup of traders you can trade with that has ammo. Old Tarkov Movement is a mod that allows you to have the old way of Tarkov movement back in the day. We have no boss PMC, which should happen should be where you're not gonna get a boss PMC styled. boss guy that's supposed to work. I'm going to test it out again just in case. Brain tweak will modify the AI in a way. Hollywood Cam. This is more of a QOL than gameplay, but Hollywood Cam will make it where it's like you are third person point of view. You can do you can do some. It's like what's that one game? It's like that game where you can PUBG third person point of view where you can play with Hollywood Cam, and it's going to be dynamic effect. We have the Gambler Trader. This adds a special trader to the lineup where he's going to have cases for you and bags and kits, but you have no idea where you're going to grab. It is a mystery box per se. So you are quote unquote you are gambling on what you're going to earn in that with that particular trader. We have weapon masteries, which allows you to have masteries of weapon. We have hairy hideout. This adds a special trader to the lineup of traders where all the items found in hairy hideout refer to, you guessed it, the hideout, which we may in which we may interact with in season zero, just to give you a taste of what I'm thinking of for season one and two. Then we have weapon variant weapons like colors, styles, all that. Now that I've talked about the gameplay mods, let's talk about the QOL, quality of life. We have remove the dead. This mod literally says what it says. Now you might be wondering, why am I doing this mod? Performance, that's why. So every object that is in the game adds up to the memory pool of your CPU. You want to make sure you're clean on that so that the calculations of AI can still happen. So I've removed the dead as more of a performance mod rather than a gameplay mod. That's why it's quality of life. We have Armand's graphics. Armand's graphics allow you to change the graphics of the game. Very straightforward. UI fixes. UI fixes allows you to use the mouse and hold select items for you to drag and drop into your stuff. Makes it very more useful. Config med config med allows you to configure your medical tools to allow you to change values and all that good stuff. We have Discarder, which is supposed to be a QOL mod, and it's going to be useful with UI fixes. That's why I included that, and you can discard items as well. The trading card. Now this is not a gameplay mod. This is more of a. I threw it in there because I want to collect stuff. It's more of a fun mod than anything else. What this does is allows you to add trading cards based on Tarkov. So you know how you Pokemon, you get Pikachu, you get Squirtle. This is the same thing, but for Tarkov. It's the lore of Tarkov, the characters and all that. You can trade them, you can actually collect them, and then you can sell them for ruble as well. So if you guys like that, you can. HUD system is going to be a HUD system, basically. It allows you to, it literally allows you to have HUD where you have the canvas, you have the compass, and then you have the hit markers, and then you have the event and the hit marker. For example, if you took out some guy with a headshot, it would tell you, hey, you took somebody out with a headshot, and it's going to tell you how much EXP you earned. And if you're on a streak, it will also give you bonus EXP for that and how many, how much. End raid debt customization. This is the mod that actually is the reason why I decided to do SPT. This one is a mod that, if customized correctly, will change the behavior of the mod of the way that that works. So here's what it does. Normally in Tarkov, if you die in the raid with anything you brought, you lose everything you just brought. But what this mod does, anything you brought into the raid is going to be safe no matter what, even the secure container. The only exception is whatever you earned. So if you put like a weapon from the guy into your holster, but you die in the raid, if you that weapon will be lost. But if you brought another weapon with you, that's safe. So it makes it easier to play. But that does not mean it's gonna be easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's just easier because you're gambling less. That's what it is. Stat track. Stat track is literally what it sounds like. It's gonna tell you the weapon on the weapon info, what it will do, how many headshots, how many times you fired around, your percentage, everything like that. Very straightforward QOL. Auto auto deposit is supposed to deposit your thing that you earned into a correct um, container. I think this only works for containers, however. We have health per level. Health per level is very straightforward. If you level up, you earn more HP. Very straightforward. Nothing to explain there. Multiply by limit. Multiply by limit allows you to bypass the default limit of purchases when in terms of items. For example, magazines are usually up to 10, but with this mod, it goes way past 10. I'm telling you now during testing, and I love it. WTT Corner Store. This mod adds new items for the stores, for the traders, including include, including items that you find in grocery stores, like Sprite, Coke, like soda. Literally, you can have that in your thing. The next one is Raid Time Toy. Raid Time Toy is a mod that allows you to increase the time of the raid. So for example, in factory it's normally 15 minutes. But if you multiply that by 2.5, I believe it's gonna be 35 minutes or so. Okay, 35 minutes because 15 times 2 is gonna be 30, and then half of 15 is gonna be 7.5. So you add time to your raid. Trader scroll is going to allow you to scroll through the traders using the mouse. Hold left click and drag your mouse to the left or to the right. Tarkov mode settings. Tarkov more settings for your game, and finally loot loot instant search. What that does is when you find items or boxes or loot some DMC guy or scav, you're going to be able to search right away. You don't need to press the search button. It's going to show you guys right away. Now, this is going to be useful because every time you search, it takes 5 seconds to complete the search or so. You don't need to wait 5 seconds with this mod. And it's also useful because what if you're in a gunfight? You want to make sure you're fast, right? You got to go fast, especially in this game. So that's my mod list for Season 0, Season 1, and Season 2, unless otherwise stated by changes to the mods or updates. Now, let's get into Season 0 and the schedule. And then I'm going to explain how you guys can watch this season, Season 1 and 2. Preseason is going to be as follows: factory and custom. That's it. It's the two maps I just talked about at the beginning of this video. So preseason, factory is the first three, customs is the last three. Very straightforward. Final status. I'm going to see if I want to do that for preseason because it doesn't count for anything. And time spent, I'm still thinking about it for preseason, but it will matter. It will matter in the regular season. So, what does the regular season look like? Here is your regular season, and here is why I said we're gonna have the best of two worlds. The first half of the season features factory, custom, factory, and back-to-back custom for 6 raids, and this will feature Edge of Darkness profile. What this is basically the profile is going to be as if you bought the Edge of Darkness edition of the game. So for that, you would get a lot of stuff, the security container, the other weapons that you would normally get as if you bought the $120 Edge of Darkness. This is the easier start, by the way, unless you put unheard of, and that's even more easier because you got a lot of more stuff. Okay, that's actually why it was it was controversial because you get a lot more than everything else, than everybody else, and that's why a lot of people say it's pay to win. So, Edge of Darkness, you get a lot of stuff to start, but the rules are the same. But because I have that little insurance mod, I don't have to worry too much. We have factory to start, customs, factory, customs, customs. You may have noticed though there is a note on the 4 to 6 custom. The note is we're going to be live on the main channel Retro Yuki, which is the channel you're watching this video on July 31st, 2025. This Thursday, we're actually going to do it. We're going to start. Then factory customs customs will be on videos only. That's the end the first half. The second half is going to be called Zero to Hero. How that works is very simple as well, except it's the reverse of Edge of Darkness. Edge of Darkness, you start with something, a lot of something. Zero to Hero, you start with nothing at all, not even a knife in Tarkov. This is literally how a lot of people play Zero to Hero. You start with nothing, not no pistol, no knifey, no nothing, except for that alpha container. 4 slots, that's it. Factory, customs, factory, factory, custom. We have 3 custom, 3 factory raids that are going to be live on the channel. Although it's back to back factory, so there might be an exception to the rule. I might be doing these two live, back to back to back to back to back, 6 raids live on YouTube. I'm thinking about it. Let's not get too excited yet. Okay, so you get Edge of Darkness first half, you get um Zero to Hero second half. I'm gonna tell you the hardest one is Zero to Hero, no matter what mod you play with, because you're starting with nothing. Okay, now you might be wondering, wait a second, where's the wipe? Because it is season 0, and I want to give you guys a taste of what to expect for later season, there will be no wipe. Instead, it's a profile switch. So I'm going to make 2 profiles for this season: Edge of Darkness and Zero to Hero. Edge of Darkness first half, Zero to Hero second half. Then after the season, I'm going to remove the profiles, and we're going to be making one for season 1. And then the wipe would be in season 1, raid 15. Now, the big question is how to watch, where to watch and how to learn to watch. So for live raids, I haven't scheduled it yet because I want to make sure I get this video out before I let you guys get ready to either feel my pain or enjoy my victory on Tarkov. So, assuming that we're doing the real schedule, the first live raids will be on Thursday of this week. This Thursday. Now, you might be wondering, wait a second, you just canceled VR chat. Yes, I did. But that's because of vacation reasons. I was going to test Tarkov anyway, for live streams anyway. So there's that. So that will be on Thursday, assuming that once I put the schedule up. Okay? Now, where do you watch Tarkov that is not live? First, I would like to introduce you to this poll. Should I do an SPT EFT PVE channel? What does that mean? So basically, should I do a Tarkov channel featuring SPT and then if I decide to do it, EFT PVE PVE BSG, the one for Battle State game? The answer question, the choices are yes or no. So no matter what happens, the live raids will be on the channel. The question is, where would the videos be? If you guys say no, the videos will be on the main channel. If you guys say yes, then I'm going to add a new channel specifically for SPT, and then if I decide to do it, EFT, BS, BSG, uh, EFT, PVE. That's why I'm going to do it. Okay, so that's where you can watch. Okay, now where else can you watch? You can also watch on the website, and here's how. On the season zero page, I'm gonna have the video rates here on the channel on the actual page, so that you can watch them at your own pleasure. All right, it's gonna come from the channel you guys select now. The live raids are gonna be a little bit different. On the live raids, you're going to watch it live first, and then sometime down the line, I'm going to edit and then put it on as a new video. Now, let's talk about the video content creation side of things because this is where it's going to get a little bit more interesting. Tarkov raids are not set in stone when it comes to how much time a raid can be happening. Even with the mod, it's not going to be set in stone. That is because of one factor. How well do you play Tarkov not to die early? What do I mean by this? So each raid each raid on Tarkov in Tarkov is going to be dependent on your skill to survive. If you are a brand new player, there is most likely a chance that you lose everything at the start, right? Well, assuming that you don't have that mod, right? It's a learning curve, and each raid is different and unique because of this. So how long each episode is how long the raids are. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. Now, there is an there is a thing here I want to talk about when it comes to video editing. There might be two versions of the same raid. Here's what I'm thinking of. Here's why I'm saying that. The reason why I'm saying that is um if you watch channels that do SPT like Starvox or Phoenix, you know how long those videos are. Let me see if we have a oh no, he's the news guy. Um he's the news guy. Not I'm not Starbucks. Um oh, Gamer Visuals. Gamer Visuals has a 1 hour 18-minute video, but these raids in my opinion are not edited. So if we take a look, for example, at gamer visual, you see how long these videos are. 1 hour. By the way, that is the 15-minute mark. This is only the first raid. Now keep in mind he's been doing this for a while, so it's expected for him to do more than 10 minutes of a raid because he's been doing this forever. Not literally, but I think that it's the same raid. 40 minutes in, unless I skip. Oh, no, no, I don't. No, he finally ended. This raid ended. Did he exfil? Remember, he does not have the radar mod, so it's tough to say if he exfilled correctly. We're about to find out. Let's watch this to the end here. Oh, there it is. There's the exfil spot. So he did exfil. Wow, that was close. I was not expecting that close. No, it is edited. Okay. That was a 40-minute raid if that was. Wow. That was cool. But you see how Tarkov works. It's literally everything can change in 1 second. Okay? You never know in this game. So yeah. So as you saw there, 1 hour episode. But but different number of raids. Here's what I'm thinking about two versions. The first version you're gonna see is the entire raid. The second version is called the supercut. So basically, what's gonna happen is I'm going to present the raid as a whole, like entire raid, and then the supercut of those raids are going to be in its own video where you only get to see the highlights. It's very if you remember me doing VR chat highlight thing, take that formula of VR chat highlights and apply it to Tarkov. It's going to be that way. Highlights only. No lowlights for you. Unless it's funny. Okay? Why doing that? Because it makes it easier to watch the raid and you get to see the best parts of it. Now I will tell you in customs and any big map, this is more gonna be super cutted because it's a big map and it's gonna be empty most of the time. So do expect more super cuts on those maps than factory. Because in factory it's so small, it's a small map to where it's like you're gonna get action in like 2 minutes or less. And like maps like custom or or an industry, customs or reserve or lighthouse, you're gonna get more of an empty space. So that's why I'm thinking of doing supercut version for the same season. All right. So do keep that in mind. It is possible. So yeah. What else to know before we get started? I think I explained most of it. The question is on the interactive front, especially as a streamer. This is one of the harder games to get interactive with because of the way Tarkov works. So for this reason, except for polling, there's barely going to be any interactive elements. There's no Yuki coin. There's no sabotaging. Because if we do a sabotage um Tarkov, that's going to make it even harder than it is already. So for that reason, there will be no sabotage streams. There will be no Yuki coin system for this game. It's very difficult. You're already sabotaged as it is because of how Tarkov works, even with mods. So I might as well keep it where it is. Okay, but you can pull. We're also gonna try to do something cool, where we do a ban system, where we ban a map for the season, just like what they would do in professional games, right? Well, that's it. I hope you guys are ready because the preseason starts very soon. Season zero starts as soon as tomorrow, and the first live raid Thursday. Now, will preseason raids actually be um added to the video lineup? No, I'm just gonna do these on my own, and you'll find out the the record after that. I will tell you, I will have to commentate on these. Now, I do. I want to point out one thing about gamer visuals. He has been doing this for a long time, and he has a role play system. Um, if there's a role playing element, like a role play, so he had character made a character based on the story, and then he had the character. He named them Jack Mercer, no relation to Matt Mercer, obviously. So Jack Jack Mercer, was dragged by the scabs to Ground Zero map, and he has to exfil in order to learn about the hideout, which is the hideout in the game. In that hideout is lying a alpha container, the one you would normally get in the game, and 5,000 rubles, and a knife. So basically, he has to exfil first to earn the ability to get to the hideout and to get the alpha container and the knife, along with now the 5,000 rubles is actually in raid item and a quest item. Okay, so technically he cannot have that yet by the story rule. Okay, that's how they work. You have to earn the the alpha container. Will we do that for our season? Maybe in season one, we're gonna be doing that. I don't want to start doing the whole role play system and then we never get an expo. Okay, we're not gonna do that yet. Let's 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 have some fun, enjoy some Tarkov before we do it for real in season one. All right, I'm gonna be doing more practice rates. Just make sure customs is available, viable for without lagging my computer, and then we'll get started. Question is, are you ready to escape from Tarkov SPT style?